Alright, welcome. So we have made 4 things: a starter, a main dish, a dessert and some tea for in the evening later on. Everything that we made was purely vegetarian, not for us, but so that our dear cameraman Sam can join us for dinner. And it's probably good for the planet and stuff. So for starters we made Shara's famous potato bread. Some of you might remember this from a quest in Oblivion. For the main course we made some traditional Dunmer Kwama egg quiche. For desserts we made some sweet rolls, of course, that goes with celebration. And finally we made some traditional Nordic Red Mountain flower tea, which was really bitter. So let's quickly begin. So what we were making here was Shara's famous potato bread. Some of you who played Oblivion might know this dish already, as it's part of a quest where you have to help Shara, a Khajiit woman at Oblivion's Fark-like inn, close to the Imperial city. And in that quest you need to help her get her potatoes back, so she can make some famous potato bread. In the games it's made with special jumbo potatoes, but the ones that we are using are just normal potatoes. But these jumbo potatoes are special potatoes that Shara grows herself and nurtures herself. She spends a lot of work on her potato bread and claims that they are so delicious that everybody in Tamriel wants them, and that her potato bread is more valuable than gold. According to the official cookbook that we used for all the recipes in this video, she eventually shared her recipe, which spread over Tamriel and is now especially popular in Skyrim, as in Skyrim wheat has become a lot more expensive due to the civil war that is raging on in the province. So a lot of Nords have now adapted this recipe so that they can add potato to their bread in order to stretch their supply of flour. So, according to the recipe, this potato bread is used making some jumbo potatoes, some butter, some salt, an egg, some flour and a teaspoon of Imperial seasoning. This Imperial seasoning, as I told in the lore video on food that aired a few months ago, is standard in the Imperial army and it's mostly used by cooks of the Legion. Over the years, however, this kind of seasoning has also become popular with Tamriel's general population, even in provinces like Skyrim, where the Legion itself isn't viewed too favorably nowadays. The seasoning is a combination of flavors with bright citrus profile from coriander and is mostly used with vegetables and fish dishes, but also with this kind of potato bread. So what we were working on here was the Kwama egg quiche. This is a recipe that's traditionally only known in Morrowind, specifically Vardenfell, and the quiche is made using eggs of kwamas, which are large insects native to Vardenfell that live in large colonies underground. While they are kept for their eggs, each colony is led by a queen. The queen is usually too fat to do any work herself, and thus the others have to do the work for the queen. Usually this dish was pretty niche and was only ever eaten in Vardenfell, but after the eruption of the Red Mountain this dish was brought to the other provinces of Tamriel by the Dunmer refugees. The recipe for Kwama egg quiche became quite popular, especially within the Empire where most of the Dunmer fled, and many regional variants sprang up over the years since the eruption of the Red Mountain, where the things like spices, exact types of cheese and the types of eggs was used and changed. As Kwama eggs were harder to come by in the other provinces, it was usually adapted to use other eggs, like for example chicken eggs, but especially the Dunmer themselves really still prefer the original recipe with the Kwama eggs. What we are now preparing here is Red Mountain flower tea. All around Tamriel, in mountainous climates you can find mountain flowers. These flowers are very popular with alchemists for their alchemical properties, but the red variant of this mountain flower is also very popular with the Nords, who use the flower to make tea on the side of the road while traveling the mountains. It's a very bitter tea and usually people drink it with some sugar or honey, but the true Nords drink it unsweetened, enjoying the tartness that the flower lends the tea. It's a traditional Nordic recipe that uses not only the mountain flowers but also has some traditional Nordic spices, which the Nords usually use to give some more taste to recipes with cold weather vegetables, but it can also be used for hot drinks, dessert and baking. So, one more thing, the Red Mountain flower tea is actually not the Red Mountain flower tea, so it's not specifically linked to the Red Mountain, but it's Red Mountain flower tea, so just the mountain flowers in the red variant. Here we are working on a dessert, the sweet rolls. This is probably the most famous dish Tamriel has to offer, and it's almost universally liked across the continent, and it's a running gag throughout the Elder Scrolls series of games. I mean, probably most well-known gag is the guard who jokes about your sweet roll being stolen in Skyrim. Now, there isn't much lore on the sweet roll itself, other than the fact that its appearance has changed over the years, as in the second era during the Elder Scrolls Online and in the third era during Oblivion, the sweet roll looked very different from their fourth era depictions in the Elder Scrolls Blades, Legends and Skyrim. Now, there might not be a lot of lore on them, they are basically just small cakes with some icing on the top. I did find a very interesting headcanon Reddit post which gives some fun perspective on what different types of sweet rolls could be like. This post is absolutely not canon, so I won't talk about it here, but I will put a link to the post in the description of this video. I can really recommend reading it, as the author gave some interesting perspectives on what other provinces' sweet rolls might taste like. So, you know, if you're interested in that kind of thing, read it. But before I end this video, I really want to thank all of you for amazing dedication over the years. When I started this channel, I never really thought that I would get this far, especially since my content isn't really the type of content that the YouTube algorithm likes, since it's really specific, non-clickbait and more academical than entertaining. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everyone who has always watched my videos, but also thanks to the people who just watched a few, and even of those who just subscribed and never watched the video again. Basically, to everyone who has supported my channel, even in the slightest, I say thank you. We reached these 25,000 subscribers, which is quite the milestone, and it's basically all thanks to you. So, thank you. I wish I could offer you a sweet roll in celebration, but the ones that we made, they're all gone now because I ate most of them. That said, this is the end of the video. I will see you all coming Thursday in the next regular Elder Scrolls lore video, which I can hopefully still do for quite some time, if YouTube doesn't, you know, die out of whatever is going on right now with all kind of new legislation, and it worries me, but I'm glad we reached 25,000 subscribers before YouTube's death. Bye bye.